Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the DAZN Matchrooms CEO and the star of Netflix, The Greatest Showman, Mr. Frank Smith, joins me. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. Not quite the star. When I make it on the front cover of Netflix, then I can be called the star. Yeah.
I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but I think you and Emily come across really, really well. You and Emily Fraser.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not. It's always hard watching yourself. It's not easy watching yourself. But I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad it's done. And let's see. We'll wait and see what happens with season two.
I reckon you'll be on the front of season two. Um, right. There's only one thing to talk about. It's massive. Arguably the biggest signing you
What's
could
that?
make.
What is it?
You don't know what I'm going to say yet. Arguably the biggest signing you could make outside of Tyson Fury coming out of retirement and rocking up at Matchroom HQ. Ben Whittaker joins Matchroom. How pleased are you, Frank?
Delighted. Delighted. Look, it's been years in the making. In terms of we had the discussions 3 and a bit years ago when he turned professional. We were very close. We even filmed a promo. We were that close and basically done. Um, and we always knew when the time was right, he was free, we'd be there. And I said it before, one of the biggest stars and has the potential to be a superstar in the sport of boxing, not just in the UK, but globally, and to see what he's already done really on his own back. Is quite amazing. And we always knew that this time would come. And I don't think there's a better pairing than Ben Whittaker and Matchroom.
Talk to me about the process. As soon as the Sky and BOXXER deal broke down, were you kind of stalking the situation? Is that a fair assessment?
Not really stalking. I mean, look, it was widely known that when or if the Sky deal concluded, a lot of boxer fighters became contractually clear under their contract. Their contracts were aligned with them being on Sky Sports because otherwise, why on earth would you sign with BOXXER? That was the reason people signed with them. It wasn't for their promotional skills. Um, and look, honestly, we waited. We always knew the time would come. He was always going to be a free agent at some point, but we waited until we got approached. We weren't going to do anything. We weren't going to push anyone into doing anything that they weren't supposed to do. We waited until we got confirmation he was a free agent. And then the deal moved very quickly. From there, I had discussions with Will Harvey, his manager, and Mohit, his lawyer. And we got the deal done, I think, within, you know, a couple of weeks. The deal was done. Within 4 days, a contract was signed. Uh, a promo was filmed on Friday, was released on Monday. It was all very quick, but we wanted to get it out there. We managed to keep it very secret as well. We kept it amongst a very small group of people, and it was a great announcement. Two of the best promos I've seen as well. So shout out to Oleksandr on those, an unbelievable job, and Ben Whittaker for he was the one who called on the "Show Me the Money" promo as well.
Yeah, we need to talk about that Jerry Maguire skit. Only Eddie would do that, wouldn't he? Realistic, if we're being honest.
He loves it, doesn't he? I think he might end up as an actor once his promotional days are over. Once he's about 70, looks a bit more like Michael Caine. We might see him out on his with a little acting career on the go. But it was look, when you sign someone like Ben Whittaker, you need to make sure the delivery is done the right way. And we had him at a promo shoot, and fair play to him. He did 12 hours promo shoot on Friday in London. We got everything together. The guys turned it around nice and quickly. But that's what you need to do. He has everything, all the trappings to become a superstar. And we need to ensure now it's our job to give him, the platform to take him to that next level.
Yeah, I mean, you said that you kept it between quite a small group of people. You know what we're like. We don't miss a trick. You put it on your story. Ed put it on his story. It was like a one of the slides of his Instagram post with, I think the song was money related. Is it fair to say we all kind of knew that it might happen sometime soon? It's just that you said the turnaround has been quick the last couple of days, but we all kind of expected it, right?
Yeah, but look, he was talking to everyone. Of course he was. He's, I said in interviews before, he's commercially one of the biggest stars in the sport, one of the biggest, free agents in the sport. And everyone would have been after him, not just UK promoters, but globally as well, because he has that crossover appeal. You only have to look at his social media to see what he's done already. And for us, look, we felt confident we get him, but you never know, because everyone's going to be hunting down Ben Whittaker's signature. So it was only done, it was signed on Friday. Last Sunday, we agreed the terms. I was on holiday. I got a phone call saying, "Great news, we're good to go," from Will Harvey. So at that point, I was dancing round. My missus was like, "What's happened to you?" I was like, "Great news, we've signed Ben Whittaker." Well, we hadn't signed at the time. And then, until the ink, because we'd been so close the time before, it didn't feel real until we were in London at a promo shoot and we were signing the contracts. So yeah, it's look, every man and their dog was after Ben Whittaker. We always had a confidence because we feel we're the perfect fit for him. And I think you'll see that, especially him and Eddie as well together. You know, he has, as I say again, all the trappings to become a superstar of the sport, and he will do that in the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, reading the press release, listening to his interview last night, one thing that stood out was he did say, "This is where I always wanted to be," and my family know that.
Yeah, because I think, you also have to remember, like, in this era of boxing, when you look at what we've done over the last 10 years, and don't get me wrong, I also think had BOXXER have delivered for him, he would have signed an extension with them. If they would have gone and delivered for him. But, there was so many things over that period which, I don't think were done the right way. And ultimately that comes with experience. And that's what we've got, bundles of experience, because we've been doing it so long now. So yeah, look, it's all fallen into place. As I said in my part, it was never in doubt when it would, that it would happen. It was just when would it happen?
Yeah, I mean, you said on Talksport that you feel like he hasn't been matched right until now. What was the
Hmm.
one thing, if you look at those 10 fights, obviously the standout, the two Liam Cameron fights, what's the one thing that if you look at them 10 fights, you go, that kind of wouldn't be what we would have done had we had Ben from debut when you said obviously he hasn't been matched right until now.
I think they spent a lot of money on Ben and didn't have enough money then to go and get opponents that would progress him in the right manner. And I'm not saying it would have been necessary this fight's harder or that fight's harder. It would have been things that teach him things over a period of time. Do you know what I mean? And look, I think now with Andy Lee as well in his corner, who's a tremendous trainer, as we know and we've seen over the years, and also a great person, I think he's going to come on leaps and bounds. You forget that we don't forget, but it was years ago now, wasn't it? He won a medal at the Olympics, and when you're fighting at that level, you're fighting against the best fighters in the world, and then you come out of there, and obviously you need to progress through the professional ranks. And I'm not a matchmaker, by the way. Like that's not my job. You know me, I'm not the specialist within boxing. But I just felt like they didn't necessarily take him on a journey of building him the right way because they were so limited with I guess, the money they had to get the right opponents. But it's going to be, he still needs time. He's only 28 years old. He's only had 10 fights and he's never really had momentum in his career, I would say. You know, he's never he's never been back to back in, learning in fights. And I think now the key is over the next 14 months, he's going to have 4 fights by the end of next year, and that's how you build a star as well. So yeah, it's exciting times for us. And I think we've been in the sport so long now, every now and then you need these moments where you go, yes, we got it. And that's what we've got here.
Yeah, there's definitely kind of a something rings around boxing when you make them signings. I kind of liken it to when you sign Boots. I remember like the whole of social
Mm.
media just blows up them like big signings. Before we talk about, well, I try and push you for dates and whatever, even though I'll probably get a swift no. I will ask. I know it's about Ben and where you can take him. Is there a little bit of satisfaction that he's been pinched from a promotional company that you guys have had a rivalry with, or is that something that doesn't come into play?
Like I said, I got asked this previously. I don't sit and lie. My feelings about the other promotional entity are very much out there. I'm not going to go on about it. You know what my views are. But if you run a business based on dislike, hate, or making moves just to, get one up on someone else, you're in the wrong business in boxing because you'd spend every day doing that. We signed Ben Whittaker because we believe the talent he's got, where he can go to, and what we can do together. That's all it comes down to. That's the whole thing. I'm sure it hasn't gone down well on the other side, but the feeling wasn't, oh, I'll sign him because that will really get to him. We signed him because we believe in Ben Whittaker, and that will always be the way we operate and run our business. And we'll always make logical decisions, throughout. We've been here for 42 years now, 43 years. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Right, we know the rumours of the shows late November in the UK. Monte Carlo, obviously, which you guys have put out and said save the date for the 6th. Does he make his debut this year?
Yes. Ben Whittaker will make his debut this year?
in the UK.
Let's see. See, you thought I was going to go, yeah, in the UK, and then you'd be like, and then he could be making his debut in Timbuktu. Let's see.
To be fair, a Monte Carlo debut
He's
would be
not
pretty
making his
Ben
debut in
Whittaker.
Timbuktu, in all fairness, to be fair. But
I
you
was
know,
going to say I haven't seen that show announced yet, but a Monte
no,
Carlo
it's
debut
coming.
would be quite Ben Whittaker, though. Stylish.
But look, there's for us, we're working through the schedule now. By the end of this week, we're talking to DAZN. And I think by the end of this week, you'll see an announcement for the remainder of the year.